Welcome back. I think it's safe to say that today's subjects are about voices and vision in an explorer, a couple of singer-songwriters, a radio, cable, television, and internet personality, a pivotal event, a word, a song, and a quote. So grab your favorite cuppa, settle in, and let's have a look. Hi there, and welcome to this day in history for June 4th. June 4th is the 155th day of the year in the Gregorian calendar, 156th in leap years, with 210 days remaining to the end of the year. Today's word is defilade. Defilade is a military term, usually a noun, that means protection or shielding from enemy observation or fire, typically by using natural or artificial obstacles like terrain features. It has to do with arranging troops and fortifications so that the terrain will protect them, especially from gunfire against either flank. An example sentence might be, the troops moved into a defilade to avoid artillery fire, where defilade is the position or area that offers cover. Defilade may also be used as a verb, although this is less common. An example sentence in that case might be, they defiladed their position behind the ridge, where it means to shield or protect from enemy fire or sight. The word defilade comes to us from French. First known use of the word defilade is in the 1820s. Defilade. The word defilade was suggested by YouTube viewer at ddally8851. Thanks, ddally. And if you have a word you'd like us to examine in this Word of the Day segment, drop it in the comments. We'll check it out. And with that, Captain George Vancouver was a British Royal Navy officer and explorer, best known for leading the Vancouver expedition. He and his crew explored and mapped much of the Pacific Northwest, including what we now know as British Columbia, Alaska, Washington, Oregon, and California. They also spent time charting the Hawaiian Islands and parts of Australia's southwest coast. We mention him today because it was on June 4th, 1792 that he claimed Puget Sound for the Kingdom of Great Britain. Just the other day, we had that Freddie Fender song, Before the Next Teardrop Falls. Well, today happens to be Freddie Fender's birthday. He was born on June 4th, 1937 in San Benito, Texas. As I've mentioned several times before, many artists back in the day got their start by performing live on radio stations, and Freddie made his debut radio performance at the age of 10, singing at the Harlingen, Texas radio station KGBT. He joined the U.S. Marines when he was 17. Once he was discharged, he came back to Texas and began playing in nightclubs, bars, and honky-tonks throughout the South, mostly to Latino audiences. He just kept on singing, man. Had some hits, acting parts too. He played the mayor in the 1988 movie The Milagro Beanfield War, as well as other movie and TV parts. Unfortunately, Freddie had some serious health ailments the last few years of his life. He played his last concert in December of 2005 and passed in October of 2006 from lung cancer. He was 69 at the time of his passing. This is the birthday of Holly Michelle Gilliam, born June 4th, 1944 in Long Beach, California. She began modeling in San Francisco, where she met and married John Phillips in 1962. And so it is that we know her as Michelle Phillips. Together, they co-founded the folk rock group The Mamas and the Papas in 1965. The group achieved significant success with their harmonious blend of folk, rock, and pop. The group released 5 studio albums before disbanding in 1970. After that, she pursued a successful acting career in film and television with parts in several movies, and a long-running part as Ann Matheson on the TV show Knots Landing from 1987 to 1993. Interestingly, Michelle is the last surviving original member of the Mamas and the Papas. This is the birthday of George Noory, born June 4th, 1950 in Detroit, Michigan. If his name sounds familiar to you, you might be a coastie or an ancient alien theory aficionado, or interested in unknown mysteries of the universe. He's the weekday host of a talk radio show called Coast to Coast AM that runs live every night of the world, all 7 nights from midnight where I live to 4 a.m. Times, of course, will be different in other time zones. In addition to Coast, he's also appeared with some regularity on History Channel's Ancient Alien series, and he has a regular show on Gaia.com called Beyond Belief. Anyway, this is George's birthday, June 4th. Happy birthday, George Noory. Hu Yaobang was a Chinese Communist Party member, having joined as a teenager in the 1930s. He experienced ups and downs within the CCP, alternately gaining favor, then losing favor, then gaining favor again over the years. In April of 1989, Hu suffered a heart attack, which would prove fatal in a few days. He was 73 at the time of his passing, and 73-year-old men are taken by heart attacks every day. Although the party gave him a glowing obituary, Western sources felt that this was done to divert suspicion that the party may have mistreated him. As I mentioned, throughout his career as a CCP member, he would alternately gain favor, lose favor, gain favor, and so on. He was semi-retired when he passed, and his passing was unexpected. I get the feeling that the CCP would have preferred to quietly lay him to rest and never mention his name again, but public pressure forced the CCP to give him a full state funeral to be attended by party leaders. Public mourners surprised party leaders by lining up for 10 miles. That's 16 kilometers. Even though he died of a heart attack at the age of 73, Hu's grieving wife blamed the party for his death, saying that it was because he'd been treated harshly by them. Thus precipitated students gathering in Beijing's Tiananmen Square to mourn and to call for political reforms, including freedom of speech and press, and an end to corruption. The movement grew, with hunger strikes and mass demonstrations spreading to over 400 cities. On June 3rd and 4th, the Chinese government declared martial law and sent in troops and tanks to forcibly clear the square. While the exact death toll remains unknown, unofficial estimates range from several hundred to several thousand. The crackdown led to widespread arrests, purges within the Communist Party, and international condemnation. In the years since, the Chinese government has heavily censored discussion of the events, making it one of the most sensitive topics in the country. Today's song is California Dreamin' by the Mamas and the Papas. It was written by John and Michelle Phillips when they lived in New York City. Those northern latitudes in winter can be pretty brutal, and Michelle was missing sunny California. Instrumentals for this song were provided by the Wrecking Crew, and the song was released in 1965. Here's another case of the song not getting much traction initially, if you can imagine such a thing with this song. But a radio station in Boston gave it some airtime, allowing California Dreamin' to break out. It peaked at number 4 in March 1966 and remained on the charts for a good while. California Dreamin' ended up as the top single on the Billboard End of the Year survey for 1966 and did well on the charts in other countries as well. California Dreamin' is notable in popular culture with placement in movies and television shows, and has been covered by the Beach Boys, Jose Feliciano, the band America, and others. California Dreamin' by the Mamas and the Papas. Link in the description. How about that? I'm sorely tempted to comment further on each subject, but we surely must be long enough by now. So let's take a look at today's quote. It's a modern proverb that I think goes along really well with all the things we talked about today, and it is, dreams are the foundation of change. Without them, we stand still. And that is a modern proverb. Alrighty, y'all take care. Be good to each other. I'll see you next time. Today's word. Today's really. Well, it'll slow down in a minute. Today's word is defilade. I'm not going to the door now. That guy wants to sell me internet, and I've already got internet. Kind of gave me a stir for a minute there. Let's see where we were. Holy cow. All right. There's the mailman. Looks like the door knocker has moved along. Okay. Let's get our background because that's so cool. There we go. Let's scoot this over. Oh, there it is. Why isn't it showing? Maybe I need to do it here. There you go. All right. And I think that's going to do it for us today. Thank you so much for watching. Consider subscribing if you haven't already. Feel free to share this video with a link in your email, messaging, or social media. If you enjoyed this series, you can check out the playlists in the description. You can find me on BitChute, Facebook, Odyssey, Rumble, YouTube, and X, as well as on a blog page called No Really. All those links are in the description. Alrighty, that's all I can think of right now. Thanks again, and I'll see you next time.